300 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Dak was also pretty good in this one, but he had 3 costly turnovers, including 1 pick, as he tried to lead the boys to another comeback win. Wasn't enough. The Seattle Seahawks pull out with the win. They stay perfect at 3-0, while the Cowboys fall to 1-2. Michael Vick back with us now, but Brandon, let me start with you. Were you more impressed with Russ and the Seahawks, or disappointed in Dak and the Cowboys?
You know what? I mean, obviously, you guys know I'm high on the Seattle Seahawks and also Russell Wilson. So at this point, I'm not impressed with Seattle. I expect this, and I also expect them to get better. I expect them to clean up some things on the defensive side because they didn't play well on that side of the ball. With that being said, I'm disappointed in the Cowboys because there's some trends, some common trends that we're starting to see. Week 1, it's an overreaction. Week 2, it's an overreaction. But now when we're going to week 3, week 4, and we continue to turn the ball over, that's a problem. We get into week 3, week 4, and we're letting guys get behind us, that's a problem. Those are things that you can easily fix in meetings. You don't have to practice to fix those things. And I say this all the time, and I said it earlier in our show, and Mike, you know this. Ball security is job security, yours and mine. Coach DJ McCarthy used to tell us that back at our UCF days. He went on to LSU, but that was one of the things that we had plastered on our wide receiver room because we knew how critical it was to win the turnover battle.
I have to say I was more impressed with the Seattle Seahawks effort overall. You know, obviously Russell Wilson throwing 5 touchdown passes. That's just hard to do on any given Sunday. I mean, just to get 3 is a milestone in the game. He had 5 and potentially it could have been 6. And the fact that he had to go tick for tack with the Dallas Cowboys, it takes a lot to make that happen. But at the same time, you know, I just felt like Russ did everything that he needed to do in order to win this game and come out with a win. And it certainly wasn't easy. They lost offensive linemen. They lost guys on defense. And you know, he put the team on his back, which is what I expected. I didn't expect that type of performance, you know, 5 to 6 touchdown passes, but it happened. On the Dallas Cowboys side, I mean, same thing, you know, injuries to the offensive line, you know, banged up secondary. This game could have went either way. And, you know, it's just unfortunate for Dak that every week he's under the microscope and, you know, he has to be picture perfect and it's not ideal, but, you know, it's kind of what he signed up for. So, you know, it's going to be a long road for Dallas. Unfortunately for them, you know, they can still win their division. But I think at the end of the day, Russell Wilson, he owned the day.
Yeah, well, I think Rutgers might be able to win the NFC East right now. They're only a half game back. I mean, come on. The Cowboys have Super Bowl expectations at the moment, and it's like their defense, Brandon. It was like they had never played together. I mean, it was like they'd never played together, and it was like they'd never seen Russell Wilson play. Guess what? He's the best in the world at. Those lollipop rainbow touchdown passes. Guess what DK Metcalf can do? Run really fast. Guess what Tyler Lockett can do? Run really fast. So everyone knows the Cowboys defense, outside of Aldon Smith, who took 5 years off from football and now leads the NFL in sacks, the Cowboys defense disaster. I think everyone understands that. I think where people might not understand, because you and I had a disagreement about this, I want you to explain it to me, because you said earlier that Dak's first pick wasn't on him. And when I'm watching that game, I'm like, well, that is definitely on him. That's not like a bobbled ball. So how was Dak's first pick not on Dak Prescott, the one that came right before the end of the first half that set up a Seattle touchdown and flipped the momentum of this game?
Yeah, I just think it's important for us when we're watching the game for us to get it right, you know, because there's a lot on the line. You know, you can turn on TV today and everybody's going to be crushing Dak. Oh, he had 3 turnovers. Well, I think 1 was on him. I think the fumble was, you know, it was a team fumble. It was on the offensive line and Dak. And then when you look at this play, I mean, this is what we practice for. We talk about muscle memory. We talk about chemistry, you know, and we talk about getting on the same page with our quarterback. And, Mike, you know this. My feet matches up with Mike Vick's feet. Mike has a 7-step drop, then that means I'm probably taking a 15 to 20 yard. It's a 15 to 20 yard route. And when you look at that route, that was a 20-yard in cut. So that means this guy's pretty much taking a 7-step drop, and if he's in the gun, it'll be 3 steps. And then when he plants that back foot, he's letting it rip. I remember Coach Shanahan saying, when you run this route, you got to be crisp, because the quarterback, soon as he gets back there, he's going to throw in between the numbers and the hash, and you have to be there. Number 1, Amari Cooper was late off the ball. Number 2, it looks like he ran a skinny post, which is a 45-degree angle to the near upright. So when I was looking at it real time, I was like, oh, that's on Amari Cooper. That's a sloppy route. So, Mike, I don't know how you saw it, but to me, Dak did exactly what he's supposed to do. Look at that ball. It's right in between the numbers and the hash. That's what we're taught. Amari Cooper need to clean up the top of that route. He looked like, it was a 2-minute drill.Maybe he was tired. I don't know, but that's on him.
Brandon, to your point, it was a bad route. It was an in cut. It wasn't ran precisely, and he allowed the corner to come underneath and undercut the throw. But this is what I'm talking about with Dak Prescott sometimes. You don't always have to make that throw. And if the pocket is hot and you can't go to your other progressions, then that's understandable. But you can see this safety clearly coming down, and he forced Dak to throw the ball slightly behind Cooper. So everything was all good until the throw was made. So it was a bad throw on Dak, but he couldn't lead him because the safety was coming down. 33 was coming down. And I don't know if he was a quarter safety or middle of the field safety. I'm not going to get into, the defensive X's and O's, but lazy route. He didn't flatten it out. Amari Cooper didn't flatten it out. Dak wasn't supposed to make that throw. Dak was supposed to go to another read or eat it.
Mike, I'm sorry, but
you got to pull that one down.
You, Mike. If I'm at the top. No, I know, but if I'm at the top of my route, Mike, and I'm playing with you, and I feel that pressure, and that's good coverage by Griffin, I am being that tells me I got to be super precise at the top of my route, and I got to protect your throw. That should turn into almost like an 18-yard curl route, because you got the safety coming. You have good coverage. Right. So I'm coming back to the sideline, I'm saying, Mike, I'm sorry, that's on me. And then I'm standing up in the press conference, and I'm saying, that's not on Mike, that's on me. That's what I'll do in that situation. But you are right. That's from your perspective. But when I see a receiver like this, you always got to protect your quarterback's throw, because I want you to throw to me 20 more times.
Let me jump in real quick, Wilds, because Mike is obviously Mike and Brandon have done this exact thing. Mike doesn't make that throw. Brandon has run that route. I've done none of this. But what I have done is pretended to be Mike McCarthy. And the other element of this play is Dak is rushed. You know why? Because there's 35 seconds left, and once again, Mike McCarthy is taking his timeouts home with him. They have all 3 timeouts there. The previous play was stopped inbounds. You could have called timeout, calm everything down, make sure everyone knows what's going on.
Hold on, Nick.
No, Brandon.
You like crushing the coaches. I was literally watching this game. Hey, Mike, wow. At the end of this game, because I'm like, all right, man, 2 minutes coming down to the last possession. Yeah. And I thought about it. I said, okay, let me look at the timeouts. He had all of his timeouts at the end of the game, I believe. I was like, wow, they're in great position. He didn't call his timeouts right away when I would have called a timeout. And I thought about it. I said, maybe this is coach knocking off the rust. And I literally thought about you. I said, Nick crushed him the week 1, week 2. There's no way Nick Wright can crush coach this time.
He didn't call timeout before the punt, Wilds. So instead of having a minute 40, they only had a minute. And then on first down, they're stopped in bounds, Wilds. And so everything's rushed. Yeah. You got 3 timeouts. Use them. Calm everything down. Yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
Brandon, that's a sign that the timeout management wasn't one of the keys that he looked at in his barn as he watched every single NFL game in the history of the NFL archives. I'm gonna go off the